Hello, and welcome back to the Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. I imagine that most of you are like myself, where your life flows into multiple categories, if you will. Not many of us anymore live a life where we go to work 8 to 5, we come home, we fix supper, take care of our kids, go to bed, and that's really all that we do. Most of us have other things we're involved in, volunteer opportunities, we're involved in our churches. Maybe you even have a side hustle going on. How do we fit all of that into each week? How do we get the things done? In the book, Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt, which if you haven't read it, I do highly recommend it, and I will put a link to that below in the notes. In that book, he shares the concept of the ideal week. I have been using my planner, which he also recommends in that book, the Full Focus Planner. I've been using that for several years now, and I used it for about a year and a half before I finally decided to harness the power of the ideal week. It made me really nervous because I felt like I needed the flexibility. I love routines, but I didn't want to concrete myself into these are the things I'm going to do each day. But what I found is as I started using the ideal week, it really freed me up. It helped me to find the spaces to do all of the different things that I needed to do without overwhelming myself, but still getting those things done. So today I am going to share with you how that you can implement this ideal week concept into your life. The first thing that we want to remember is in the title of this exercise, it is called the ideal week. This is ideal. Life is rarely ideal. It is extremely often that I have to move things around. And so even Michael Hyatt in his book where he shares about the ideal week, he lets you know 90% of the time this isn't going to happen exactly like you want it to happen. But we need a plan. We need a structure to put our week in, and then we can arrange it as we see that things are happening. So remember, this is ideal. But if your week could look a certain way, what would you want it to look like? The first step that you're going to take is you're going to sit down and write out all of the categories, all of the different things that you're responsible for. If you haven't already, I recommend that you start with an exercise where you do write every single task down. You write every single responsibility that you have. And you want to go through that and see if there are some things that you can delegate, maybe some things that you can eliminate, or some things that you can automate. That's a totally different subject, but if you haven't done that yet, I do recommend doing that. So as you look through this list, you will begin to see categories. For myself, I've found that I have work responsibilities, I have church responsibilities, and I have responsibilities for the goodness margin. Things such as filming this video for YouTube, for writing blog posts, for posting content on social media. You can hire me to do a consultation with you. So those are all responsibilities that I have under those particular categories. What I have done is I look at each day of the week. And yes, I work a regular job. I have to be responsible to my boss. I have to respond to emails. I have all of those things I have to do. However, it is a flexible job, which I feel like many of us are able to have these days. It's a job that has a little bit more flexibility. So in those pockets of time throughout my day, that I can fit in other things. What are the days that it's going to be best for me to fit these responsibilities in? And that really is the concept of the ideal week. So you have this list of all of your responsibilities, and now we've looked at categories. What are the things in each of these categories that I must get done each and every week? Then you're going to next lay your week out and write down those events that happen each week. Do you take your children to school each day? Do you pick them up each day? Does your child have a soccer game on a certain day of the week, or practice, or piano lessons? What night is church? Those kinds of things, those events that are not going to move, we want to be sure to block out that time so we know that this is not time we have available to do other things. And then you're going to see, where do I need to fit in my other responsibilities? Now, for myself, I really like to put the bulk of my work into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That allows me margin at the end of my week. This is really, really important. It gives me margin at the end of my week because things happen. It is extremely rare that a week just goes exactly as planned, that there's not something unexpected that comes up. So if I have filled every single day of the week up and something unexpected happens on Tuesday, and then I'm trying to do Wednesday piled with Tuesdays, I'm probably not going to get that done. And then as you can see, it just sort of topples over into the rest of the week. And that's how we leave ourselves feeling really overwhelmed. So I encourage you, try to look at the beginning of your week to fit those important tasks in. And that way, if the unexpected does happen, you will have margin at the end of your week to fit those things in. As you're creating this system, try to do it in pencil. Know that this is not a perfect system. It is extremely unlikely that the first time that you write down your ideal week, that it is going to be perfect. And for the next 6 months, this is exactly how your life is going to work. For myself, it took me several different times to try this, to write this down and to say, okay, this is how I want to do this. You know what? Actually, that doesn't work. I need to move it to another day. It was definitely a lot of trial and error. But thankfully, I have now found an ideal week system that works for me. Now, this works for me during the school year. When it comes to summertime and my kids are out of school, it's going to change a little bit. So know that your ideal week can change throughout the seasons of life. For the sake of this exercise, my week starts on Monday. So I'm just going to give you a little snippet into my Monday. Now, I have my Monday listed out, and for Monday, my category that I'm going to be focusing on is the work that I do for my church. I do all of the administrative and financial things for our church, and those require some responsibilities that have to be done each and every week. So of course, on Mondays, I still have to get up. I do my morning routine. I get my daughter to school, and then I come home and I do my work day startup. And that'll be something that I'm sharing with you in next week's blog post and video. So I do my work day startup. And then throughout my work day, I do the things that I normally have to do. But when I have those pockets of time, I have a list of things that I do for the church. Those include things such as planning center, QuickBooks, music, kids ministries. I have this list of things that I make sure, okay, these things are done. I can check them off. And now I know that I've completed these important things that I have to get done. And then I move on throughout my day. I have blocked out certain portions of time during Monday to know that these are the important things I need to get done. Another portion of time I have blocked out is dinner. We need to remember, if you eat dinner with your family each night, and especially if you're the one that's responsible for cooking dinner, I need to set up a larger block of time, not just to eat dinner, but to prepare dinner and then to clean up dinner. And then on Monday nights, I have put our family devotion. Ideally, that's the best night for us that works for family devotion. Be sure to block those times out. If you have a really full schedule and you need to fit some alone time in, you need to fit a date night in, be sure to schedule those things in. That's another purpose of the ideal week, is to see the things that we really want to happen. Sometimes we don't see those things as something that we would normally schedule, but if we don't schedule these things into our life, they won't happen. And then I move on to Tuesday. On Tuesday, I have several work meetings that I have to do. And so on Tuesday, I've taken some of those work tasks that are things that I have to do each and every week that I don't want to forget to do. And I'm going to write all of those down, and I have those listed out. Wednesday, that's the day that I'm going to focus on the goodness margin. I'm going to make sure that I have my social media things scheduled, that I have filmed the YouTube videos, that those things are taken care of. And then on Thursday and Friday, I have allowed for margin in my life. I would ideally like to have time to play the piano on Thursday, to practice the piano. That's a goal that I'm trying to work towards. On Friday, I would love to schedule some time to read. I don't get to do that as often as I would like to, or as I have in the past. And so I schedule some time for that. Now, if things unexpected happen earlier in the week and I need to take all of those tasks from Monday and put them on Thursday, you can see I've built that margin in where I have room to do those things. So just for a quick recap, what you're going to do is, number one, you're going to sit down and write out all of your tasks. Number two, you're going to see what categories those fit in. And then step number three, you're going to map them out in your week. Try this out. This is something that took a little bit of trial and error in my own life, but once I created an ideal week that worked for me, this has helped me to truly create margin in my life for the good things. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when the next video goes live. And also, if you're interested in owning your own full focus planner, which I believe has truly transformed my productivity, you can save 10% by using the link below and using the code Shelly10. And all of that information is going to be linked below in the notes.